I think that Level Earth Observer have run out of topics to make silly videos about. First of all, I want to thank you all, members, subscribers, you who watches my video, and all of you who have donated money via PayPal, Super Chats, Super Thanks. Together we have raised a lot of money to Ukraine. More about that in the description. Let's start the video. We all know that Leo makes videos where he claims that he scientifically proves that we live on a flat Earth, and he thinks that he proves that NASA is lying, ISS is fake and so on. He's on repeat and repeats the same nonsense time after time after time. But today I did found his latest video, and it was a bit different topic. Let's look at it.
Today I'm going to be looking at some of the claims made regarding the Challenger 86 disaster. That is, some of the astronauts are supposedly still alive to this day, and that they weren't on the actual space shuttle that blew up, and that they're living day-to-day lives doing normal jobs. And one of the characters is a lady called Judith Resnik. We've got the Judith Resnik NASA astronaut here on our screen, and there's some claims made that Yale professor Judith Resnik is the very same person as the astronaut Judith Resnik, who supposedly was on the 86 Challenger disaster. So I'm going to look at some photographs, do a comparison, and watch two clips, videos, and just do a voice comparison as well. I'm not going to make any claims myself. I'm just going to look at some photography, the evidence, and listen to two clips and compare the voices, and I'll let you decide. But I do find the evidence and the stuff we're going to look at incredibly interesting, and I think quite revealing. So let's have a look. Now this is a fairly recent image of Judith Resnik, Yale professor. And here's a compilation where I blended the astronaut with the Yale professor. So let's just have a look as these two images are blended together. Obviously there's a good couple of, well, it's probably over 20 years time difference between the two images. But there is a definite similarity there. The nose being one of them. And the features as well, quite similar. Eyebrows slightly different. Again, I'm not making any claims other than noting that they do look quite similar. Of course, there is an age gap between the two images. But yeah, again, come to your own conclusions there. This is the astronaut, Judith Resnik, back in 86. And this is Judith Resnik, the Yale professor, about 10 years, maybe 15 years ago. Interesting. This is Judith Resnik, the Yale professor in more recent years. A couple of images. There's Judith Resnik, the astronaut from back in the day. Of course, the images we've seen. A couple of comparison images. Obviously, it's an unusual name in itself. And the features are very similar, I have to say. Very similar. Again, another comparison. And now let's look at some voice comparisons. One clip of the astronaut at the start, followed by a clip of the professor. And I have to say, they do sound incredibly similar. I'll play it a couple of times, it'll play on loop. Again, come to your own conclusions here.
Well, I too am glad to be here one more time, and I am hoping that the affliction that Steve Hawley had from the 41D mission specialist of the delays hasn't rubbed off on me, and I think the guys behind me are hoping that it hasn't also.
So I live in New Haven, Connecticut, and therefore, since state courts are the central facet of adjudication in the United States wanted to start with a 1784 courthouse in New London, Connecticut, that is still operating today.
Well, I too am glad to be here one more time, and I am hoping that the affliction that Steve Hawley had from the 41D mission specialist of the delays hasn't rubbed off on me, and I think the guys behind me are hoping that it hasn't also.
So I live in New Haven, Connecticut, and therefore, since state courts are the central facet of adjudication in the United States, wanted to start with a 1784 court.
Well, having looked at some photographs and done a comparison, and listened to your voices, Judith Resnik the professor, Judith Resnik the astronaut, side by side, there's a hell of a lot of similarities. So I've got to ask, is that you, Judith?
So, Leo is on with the 1986 Challenger Space Shuttle disaster. This is a very old one, a very bad one, and of course it's not invented by Leo. He found this nonsense in some other fool's channel or web page. And of course he don't make any kind of research by himself. In the 70s and 80s the professor was teaching law at Yale, and the astronaut was studying electrical engineering and then ended up at NASA. In 1984, the astronaut Resnik was on a space flight, make her the second American woman to go to space. In 1985, the law professor was writing papers for law review journal. So both of those women was public persons at the same time. What evidence do Leo have for his claim? It's someone he don't know who have chosen two crappy pictures comparing those two persons in different ages and try to convince the audience that it's the same person. Why would they choose a public person to be an astronaut? Someone who have probably studied law. Do you need a lawyer in space? Or did she study electrical engineering the same time she was teaching law at Yale? This is so stupid. These theories is so silly and a bit nasty, I think, because speculating that people's deaths are fake. Leo always is nagging about proving scientifically that the Earth is flat, but all he managed to prove is that he is a big fool, because in this case he didn't check anything at all. He only copied other stupid theories from some fools online. That's not science, Leo. That's pure stupidity. That was all I had for you this time. I hope you liked it. If you did, become a member, subscribe, or just come back next time I'm showing a video. See you real soon. Have a nice day.